Alright guys, I went back to check around the log where the first red salamander was, and check this out, two more. Good afternoon everyone. It is still week 49, but I decided to try to get out one more day this week at least, even if the weather's a little bit cool. It's about 50 degrees right now, and it's supposed to warm up to, I think, the mid-60s today. So I'm gonna get after it for a little bit. What might end up happening is I might just throw this in with the earlier footage from this week, or I might have enough for a whole video, we'll see. Just because of how winter herping goes sometimes, there's probably going to be quite a few videos like this over the course of the next couple months. A lot of the times during the winter, I really have to hit it hard for a couple of days to find something decent. So probably over the next couple of weeks, you're going to get a couple of videos like this where it's just a relatively slow week where I lump a bunch of days together and hopefully the end product's entertaining. So I don't really have too much of a goal in mind today. I just kind of wanted to get out in the woods for a bit before I have to go to work. So I'm just going to do a little bit of wandering and flip some logs and try to find a snake or some salamanders. I would like, oh, redback, nice. That's actually one of the things I was hoping to see today. Alright guys, here is another look at this little southern redback salamander I just flipped. These guys are one of our more common salamanders here in North Georgia if you're in this type of sort of upland woodland habitat. You don't see them down in the lowlands too much, but once you get up on these ridge tops, they become pretty common. They also look pretty similar to the Webster salamander you've seen in some of my other videos. So, anyways, decent start to the day. I wanted to photograph one of these today. Because I haven't yet this year, despite how common they are. But anyways, pretty cool. I'm gonna put it back under his log and keep looking. All right, so the redback was under that log. I haven't flipped any of this yet, but it's pretty likely looking for more redbacks or some other kind of salamanders. Alright guys, under this leaf we have our next common salamander species. If I keep up at this rate, I'm going to run out of common salamander species to find, and then I'm not going to be able to make any more videos, so... No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, I'm going to flip this real quick. These guys are spotted dusky salamanders. They are probably the most widespread and common dusky salamander species of the many we have in the southeast. One of these guys has a broken tail, so he's a little bit out of shape, but this one right here is pretty typical looking. These tend to be a pretty dark species of dusky salamander, and these guys are no exception, so not too much to look at, but there's a little habitat shot for you. This seepage coming out from under this rock with some leaves and some other rocks to flip, so they were both under that rock right there. So I'm going to put these guys back after a couple quick photos of the prettier one, and keep on looking. Here's another dusky salamander that was under this log. This guy's pretty far from any actual water, so... Anyways. Well guys, I just promptly found and then lost a freaking spring salamander in the creek down there. And that would have been an awesome find for the day. Spring salamanders are one of, if not the hardest salamander to find in this county. There's a lot of areas in Georgia where they're pretty common, but here at the southern extent of their range, the habitat becomes more limited and they actually become pretty hard to find. So that was actually the first one I've seen at this spot, and it got away without a voucher. So I'm gonna dig around here a little bit more and hopefully turn up another one, but if not, well, I'm still bummed out because I don't have evidence that it actually even happened. Well guys, of the three large hot dog-like salamanders that you can find in this habitat, this guy right here is the most common and the least exciting. This is a red salamander, and not a very good looking one at that. This guy has some pretty extensive scarring on his back. These guys actually will fight each other viciously, the males. Of course over females' territory, the usual animal stuff, but I mean, pretty cool looking salamander either way. Only about a 3.5, 4 incher, pretty typical size. But you can see those white marks on his back right there are actually scars from the combat I was talking about earlier. Anyways, pretty interesting find. Alright guys, I went back to check around the log where the first red salamander was, and check this out, 2 more. This one is really something else. He's not pretty, but he's cool looking, let's just put it that way. I love those big blotches on him, and this little guy is pretty. This is a juvenile, and the juvenile red salamanders are generally going to be more vibrant than the adults. Well, even if I don't see a spring salamander today, I got to see these two, so I'm going to get them off my backpack and get a couple. I just put them up there while I was getting my gear out, but I'm going to get them off my backpack and get a couple more naturalistic looks at them for you guys. Alright guys, here's another look at this juvenile slash subadult red salamander. This look is more along the lines of what people expect when they see red salamanders, but the reality is a lot of the populations, at least outside of the mountainous regions and the northeast, are kind of dull as full-grown adults, and a lot of the little ones are more vibrant like this. So I'm going to let this guy and the other one go back under their log and keep looking. I'm starting to run out of time, so this might be the last thing I find today. We'll see. Alright guys, here's another look at this larger red salamander. It's entirely possible that this bruiser is the one that beat up the first red salamander. This guy barely has any scratches on him, but he does have a couple, which means he's been fighting, but you could also interpret that as meaning that he has been winning the fights rather than losing them. So, pretty cool. This is definitely probably my favorite of the bunch, just because he's got such unique spotting on him and such a big, cantankerous build to him. Either way, good looking salamander and something I was really glad to see today. Alright, buddy. Good luck. Go beat up some more dudes. Anyways, it was a pretty decent day, and I think I might actually end up having enough content for 2 videos this week, so we'll see. If I do get out again this week, I'll end up putting it with this video, so I'll see you guys then. Good morning, everyone. It is a windy morning here in Atlanta, and Richard and I are out here flipping some logs and rocks, hoping to find spring salamanders, so we're gonna see how this goes. We'll take anything, of course, as always, but spring salamanders are what I'm hoping to see the most, and maybe a snake or 2 if it warms up, but it's currently real cold and windy, so I don't have high hopes about that, but we'll see. Well, we found the spring salamander habitat. Now we just have to find the spring salamanders. And that rock right there is looking mighty juicy to me. Look at that thing. Alright, if there's one under this rock, it's getting away because I don't have a free hand, but here we go. Yeah, marked up. Oh, there is one. Really? It's a larval, I think, though. Ah. Come here. That's a weird-looking creature. I want a photo of you. Third strikes with our first in-hand herp of the day, a green frog, who's very brown right now. Nice. This right here is most of an Atlanta spring salamander. He has a missing part of his tail and has a gnarly scar. Oh, come here. On his face, but there it is. That's what we were looking for today. Pretty cool. Now we are just going to try to find a more complete one. Now you see what I mean when I said they look like hot dogs, kinda. Alright, sending this guy back under his rock. You can kind of see that gnarly face wound right there. Come on, buddy. There he goes. Let's see if we can find another one. Richard has struck 2 line. First one of these we've seen today. And a good looking individual at that. Alright guys, here's a dusky set. Oh, he jumped. I'll get ready to grab too. None. Here's another nice 2-line salamander. Unfortunately, this one has a broken tail, but good looking one. Next find of the day goes to this next really cool looking big slimy salamander. This guy's probably a northern slimy salamander, but he's showing characteristics of a couple of the other subspecies. We're in a zone of uncertainty here north of Atlanta, but really good looking salamander. It's nice to see one from this spot. I'm gonna put him back under his log and we're gonna keep flipping. Dang, look at that. We're being watched. That right there is a barred owl. He's a hoss. That's a big dusky in C2. That's probably a gravid female. Look at that. 2 redback salamanders. Alright guys, we're down here in this creek. It's starting to get a little late in the afternoon. It's probably about 2 p.m. and taking a couple pictures of one of these dusky salamanders, but figured I'd do a quick update. We've seen a couple of, we've seen a decent amount of species today, decent numbers, and we even got to see what we wanted to see, kinda. I just didn't get to take photos of it because it was a kind of unsightly individual. But it hasn't been a bad day all around, and it's just been nice to get out, of course. So anyways, we're gonna keep herping a little bit, but I think we're getting ready to head out here soon, so it hasn't been terrible. That's a pretty cool flip. There's 2 redback salamanders right there, and a green anole. Lots of redbacks on this hillside. Alright guys, well overall today wasn't a bad day. I got to see a lot of salamanders, a couple reptiles. Overall it was just a fun day in the woods. I did find my target. I got to see a spring salamander in Atlanta, which is the closest I've ever seen the spring salamander to the city. And really, surprisingly, like shockingly close. Anyways, it was not a bad day overall. I enjoyed it. And I'm going to put this video with the red salamander video, and that'll round out week 49. I will see you guys in week 50. It's going to be warm next week, and I'm super excited. Hopefully we're going to get some rain, hopefully we're going to get some warm temperatures, and hopefully that'll mean some snakes and even more salamanders. So I will see you guys then.